Royal Caribbean cruises usually cost more upfront than MSC for the same Caribbean week. That higher price can feel like a deal breaker until you look at what's actually included. Bigger shows, more free activities, and fewer surprise add-ons once you're on board. MSC may look like the cheaper option at first glance, but the real question isn't which cruise starts lower, it's which one actually costs less by the time you step off the ship. And for a lot of families, Royal Caribbean's higher price can end up making more sense. Most people start the same way. You search your dates, compare the same Caribbean itinerary, and sort by lowest price. MSC usually shows up at the top with the cheapest fare, while Royal Caribbean sits higher on the list. It's easy to assume MSC is the better deal right there, but that's exactly where most people get it wrong. Royal Caribbean prices higher because they've already built more into the experience. MSC prices lower because more of the revenue comes later once you're on board. It's not that one is cheaper and the other is expensive, they're just charging you at different points in the trip, and that means the number you see first is almost never the number you actually pay. Once you're on board, the difference becomes obvious. Royal Caribbean packs a lot more into the base fare. You're not just getting meals and a cabin, you're getting large-scale entertainment and activities that would easily cost extra elsewhere. We're talking Broadway-style productions, ice skating shows, surf simulators, rock climbing walls, and water parks, all included. That matters more than most people think, because every activity that's already included is one less thing you're paying for later. On MSC, some comparable experiences come with extra charges, which means that initial savings start shrinking the more you actually use the ship. Then come the unavoidable extras. MSC's gratuities alone now run around $17 per person per night, automatically added to your bill. Drink packages can go as high as $95 a day. Even smaller purchases, like cocktails or specialty dining, add up quickly once service charges are included. Royal Caribbean isn't free of extras either, but the difference is how much you feel pushed toward them. With more included entertainment and activities, it's easier to spend less once you're on board. So while MSC starts cheaper, Royal Caribbean often feels more complete from the beginning. Cabins, tiers, and the fine print. MSC leans heavily on tiered experiences, Bella, Fantastica, and Aurea, which can affect everything from cabin selection to dining flexibility. That structure gives you options, but it also adds complexity. Royal Caribbean keeps things simpler. You choose your cabin type, inside, ocean view, balcony, or suite, and the pricing scales in a more straightforward way. There are fewer layers to decode and fewer decisions that quietly impact your experience later. That simplicity matters, especially for first-time cruisers who just want to know what they're getting. At the higher end, MSC's Yacht Club offers strong value with included perks and private spaces. But if you're not booking that premium tier, Royal Caribbean's consistency across standard cabins often makes the overall experience easier to manage and predict. Entertainment and the onboard vibe. This is where Royal Caribbean really separates itself. Their ships are built around scale, bigger venues, bigger productions, and a non-stop lineup of activities that are already included in your fare. It feels closer to a floating theme park than a traditional cruise ship, and that's a big deal if you're traveling with kids or anyone who wants constant activity. MSC takes a different approach. The experience leans more European, slightly more relaxed, more focused on ambiance than spectacle. The entertainment is solid, but it doesn't match the size or production level of Royal Caribbean's shows.
So the choice isn't just about cost, it's about how you want to spend your time. If your idea of a cruise is packed days with built-in entertainment, Royal Caribbean delivers that better than almost anyone. Now let's talk about the real numbers. Picture a family of 4 on a 7-night cruise. With MSC, you start lower, but then you add gratuities, drink packages, Wi-Fi, and a few extras, and suddenly that gap starts closing fast. What looked like a major savings can disappear once everything is added up. With Royal Caribbean, you're paying more up front, but you're also relying less on add-ons to enjoy the trip. If your family doesn't drink heavily, you might skip drink packages entirely. If your kids are busy with included activities, you're not paying extra to keep them entertained. That's where Royal Caribbean's pricing structure starts to work in your favor. So the final cost depends less on the cruise line and more on how you actually use the ship. Who should book which? If you want the simplest answer, it comes down to this. Royal Caribbean makes more sense if you value included entertainment, larger ships, and a more predictable total cost. It's the better choice if you'd rather pay more upfront and not think about every extra purchase once you're on board. MSC still works well for budget-focused travelers who are disciplined with spending or planning to take advantage of specific deals. But the savings only hold if you keep those onboard costs under control.
At the end of the day, the cheapest cruise isn't the one with the lowest price on the booking page. It's the one that matches how you actually travel. So which would you choose? Pay less upfront with more add-ons, or pay more and get more included? Let me know in the comments. And if you really want to see how these prices play out in the real world, don't miss this next video, what $3,000 actually buys you on different cruise lines. That's where you'll see exactly how far your money goes depending on which cruise you choose, and the differences might surprise you. Happy cruising!